And good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Happy Wednesday morning to you. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and I'm happy to be with you this morning for this segment of my morning musings. We've been continuing to look at, the eschatology of the parables of Jesus. I have said this, I will continue to say it. When we properly understand the parables of Jesus, it destroys any and all futurist eschatologies. I've shared with you that in Luke chapter 15, Jesus introduced for us something that scholars have long recognized, the Jews recognized, and it was a concept in the motif of two ages, what he called this age and what he called the age to come. Then in Luke chapter 20, which is not a parable, he is approached by the Sadducees, and the issue becomes the resurrection and the Pharisee and the Sadducee controversy about it. And Jesus said the sons of this age, the age in which he was living right then and right there, the Mosaic age, but those who were counted worthy to attain that age do not marry or given in marriage. Now the opponents of covenant eschatology say, well, there you go. If you believe the resurrection has occurred, then you can't marry. You need to get a divorce. In my public debate with Joel McDermott in 2012, Joel McDermott made that argument repeatedly. In a book that he wrote to cover up what he did not answer and could not answer in our debate, he wrote a book, We Shall All Be Changed. He reiterated that argument in here, saying, Preston's married, most preterists are married, but Jesus said, in the age to come, they do not marry. And yet, strangely enough, you have to realize in this book, Jesus v. Jerusalem, Joel McDermott says, we're living in the age to come. Do you catch the power of that? Not only that, I've shared with you that so many of the books on my desk and in my library, they all affirm we're living in the age to come. Okay, in the age to come, there'll be no marrying. Joel McDermott, N.T. Wright, Richard Hayes, a host of other scholars say we're living in the age to come, yet they're married. Why is it that it's the preterist, the true preterist, that is a heretic for affirming we're in the age to come, and yet we're married? And yet these same men say, or rather, they're all married even though they say we're in the age to come. You see the hypocrisy? You see the self-contradiction? But let's take it one step further. Jesus said in Luke chapter 20 that those who are in the age to come, now watch this, they cannot die anymore, for they're equal to the angels. Wait a minute. So here is Jesus living in this age, anticipating the age to come, and he said those in the age to come do not die. Now, some people try to tell us, well, Jesus is talking about heaven here. Let's look at the contrast of the ages. The Mosaic covenant age, the Mosaic covenant, was called what? The ministry of death. Paul said in Romans chapter 7, I was alive once without the law. What law? Torah. The commandment came, sin revived, and I died. In describing and discussing life under Torah, Paul said, that which was intended to be life, I found to bring death. In Galatians chapter 3, 20 and 21, Paul said, speaking of life under Torah, if a law could have been given that could give life, then verily righteousness would have been through the law. The law condemned. The law killed. But the new covenant, the covenant of Jesus Christ, in the age that followed the Mosaic age, is called what? The ministration of life. 2 Corinthians chapter 3. And what did Jesus say about followers of Him? God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You see, under Torah, they died. Death was Torah, and Torah was death. Jesus said, if a man keeps my sayings, it's present active indicative. In other words, if a man walks in my commandments, if a man obeys me, he will never die. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. If a man believes in me, he will never die. Well, I think it's pretty obvious Jesus wasn't talking about biological death. He wasn't talking about physical life and physical death. Or else nobody has ever believed in Him from the moment He spoke that, because everyone of every generation since that time has died biologically and physically. But Jesus said, if a man believes in me, he will never die. And if he does die, he will live. If he dies biologically, he will live. The contrast is between the Old Covenant, the ministration of death, under which they practiced the Levirate marriage law. The conjugal relationship brought forth children of God, versus the new covenant of life in Christ Jesus, Romans 8, verses 1 to 3, in which children of God are produced by faith. He, Christ, came to His own. His own received Him not. But to as many as received Him, to them He gave the right, Greek word exousia, the authority to become children of God. You didn't have to have faith to become a child of God under Torah. You were born biologically and physically into that bloodline. Becoming a child of God under Christ, into the new covenant of life. That's the contrast between Jesus's this age and the age to come. Folks, we live in the age to come. Jesus was not saying when the new covenant arrives, they will no longer live or participate in marriage itself. He was saying there are two totally different types of covenant life, two totally different kinds of kingdoms. And we need to understand that. Hey, look, you need to get a copy of my book, The Last Days Identified. Go to my website, eschatology.org, BibleProphecy.com. When you order the book, include a note that says you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll refund your shipping. All right? Thanks so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings, and we'll see you on the flip side.